they got that bait bond. You see from the condensated stuff here to the virtual antenna coming out this way and making ripple waves.
The first African American to lead the denomination.
This election occurs at a time of global pandemic.
Crazy.
A time when there is hardship,
Stuff.
sickness, suffering, and
High
death.
pressure, down low pressure.
This election also occurs
Harvesting the rice, all the silica and so forth in the air.
nations that are deep, dangerous,
And
and potentially dangerous to democracy.
All that and more.
adding little
Welcome to Democracy Now! Democracy Now!
bits of silica in the air. You see it's so smoke, it's condensating moisture and everything. Like I had said to people back on Facebook, this fool's going to use China or Russia as an excuse not to step down. See how the sky looks, what we get, what's going on. We got to continue to move to evolve the property and evolve the shop to the property. 25th. We haven't been up on the hill in 17 days. We missed the Forest Leukocytes, Forest friends. But these ripples here, see that come from the virtual radar. Silica from the process in the rice fields. Fog, look at this stuff there. Weaponry for people that understand how to use it. That mill's going, where they polish the rice. Tons of silica, tons of glass go out into the air. People don't realize it. They actually polish rice. And outside of the mills, they put the holes and they put the rice powder and so forth. We collect this, what we use for things.
Of the officers who fired 32 bullets into Taylor's home would face homicide charges.
What's for the rest?
People marching down the street were met with literally dozens of police vehicles. Officers popping out, batons with bats drawn.
Breonna Taylor's family is scheduled to speak publicly today for the first time since the grand jury's decision on Wednesday. Kentucky's governor and Louisville's mayor are calling on the Attorney General of Kentucky to release the grand jury transcripts. On Capitol Hill, Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul lashed out at the Black Lives Matter movement, accusing it of targeting elected officials with what he said was terrorism.
Their goal is terrorism. They're admitting it. If you look at their exchanges online and social media, they are saying their goal is to terrorize public officials and really anybody.
Protests demanding justice for Breonna Taylor continue in cities across the United States. In Los Angeles, a peaceful march for Black Lives was attacked by drivers in two separate incidents Thursday evening, leaving at least one person hospitalized. There have been at least 69 car attacks on Black Lives Matter protesters since George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis police officers in late May. In Tucson, Arizona, the family of 27-year-old Carlos Ingram Lopez, who was killed in police custody in April, is demanding charges be brought against officers involved in his death after prosecutors said they would not face an indictment. Ingram Lopez died on April 21st after officers pinned him face down to the ground for 12 minutes at his grandmother's house. In police body cam video, he can be heard asking for water, and his grandmother, at one point he says, "I can't breathe." Coronavirus cases in the United States are rapidly surging in at least 22 states. The biggest increases have been seen across the Midwest and West, including Texas, Arizona, and Minnesota. On Thursday, President Trump rallied an estimated 15,000 of his followers at a massive campaign event in Jacksonville,
Doing it on
Florida,
purpose in
with no
certain areas.
social distancing and few people wearing masks. In Virginia, public health officials are demanding the
immunity.
cancellation of Trump's planned Friday evening rally at the Newport News Williamsburg
No such thing
International
as herd
Airport,
immunity.
warning of a severe public health threat if the rally is allowed to proceed. An executive order by Virginia Governor Ralph Northam bans gatherings of more than 250 people. In Iowa, the Trump administration has fined the operators of a beef slaughterhouse plant just $957 after they failed to protect workers from contracting coronavirus on the job. 338 of the plant's 850 workers got sick during a major outbreak at the Iowa Premium Beef Plant in April. This week, the Occupational Health and Safety Administration ordered a $1,914 fine against the company for record-keeping violations, then agreed to cut the fine in half after negotiations with executives. The Associated Press reports 4 other meat plants in Iowa with major outbreaks received no fines at all, despite hundreds of COVID cases and 9 deaths at the plants. At the United Nations General Assembly, Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned Thursday the coronavirus pandemic has killed nearly 1 million people, infected 30 million, and remains out of control due to a lack of preparedness, cooperation, unity, and solidarity among world governments.
This pandemic is a wake-up call for even more catastrophic challenges that may arise, starting with the climate crisis. If we meet these with the same disunity and disarray we have seen this year, I fear the worst.
Youth climate activists are once again taking to the streets around the world to join the Fridays for Future strike for the first time since the coronavirus pandemic began. Student-led actions are taking place in South Korea, the Philippines, Germany, Sweden, and in over 3,000 places around the globe. Swedish youth climate activist Greta Thunberg tweeted, "We will be back next week, next month, and next year for as long as it takes," she said. In the Arctic Circle, 18-year-old climate activist Maya Rose Craig held a protest this week standing on an iceberg surrounded by open ocean as Arctic sea ice shrank to its second lowest minimum extent on record.
I am up here with Greenpeace in the Arctic, and I'm here to bear witness to the sea ice minimum, but I'm also here during the most northerly Youth Strike for Climate to try and make a statement about how temporary this amazing landscape is and how our leaders have to make a decision now in order to save it.
Back in the United States, the Labor Department reports 1.5 million U.S. workers filed new unemployment claims over the past week. That includes 870,000 applicants for regular state unemployment benefits, another 630,000 who applied for pandemic unemployment assistance. Some 26 million workers are now collecting jobless benefits. The Census Bureau reports 23 million U.S. adults live in households that do not have enough food to eat, and an estimated 1 in 4 renters with children's lives in a home lives in a home that's behind on rent. This comes as lawmakers are poised to leave Washington for an extended recess amidst the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Majority Senate Republicans have yet to pass a new coronavirus relief bill more than 4 months after the House passed its $3 trillion HEROES Act. Donald Trump visited the Supreme Court Thursday, where the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg lie in repose following her death last week at the age of 87. Trump wore a mask as he and First Lady Melania Trump posed next to Ginsburg's casket on the steps of the court, one of the few times Trump has worn a mask publicly since the start of the pandemic. Members of the public who spotted Trump on the steps of the High Court erupted in a chorus of boos and chants of "Vote him out." As the protests grew louder, Trump walked back inside the Supreme Court. The protesters then switched their chant to honor her wish. Ginsburg's final statement, dictated to her granddaughter days before her her death read, quote, "My most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced until a new president is installed," she reportedly said. Trump has said he'll name his new nominee to replace Justice Ginsburg on Saturday. Republican senators have pledged to rush confirmation proceedings for Trump's pick ahead of Election Day. Today, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's body will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol, becoming the first one, including failing to transfer people to the ER or placing prisoners who are sick in solitary confinement with scarce monitoring. This comes as a separate congressional report issued earlier this week found prisoners in the custody of ICE systematically receive inadequate medical, dental, and mental health care and face solitary confinement as a punishment for speaking out. Mexican authorities are preparing to issue arrest warrants that could target Army soldiers for the first time in the ongoing investigation into the 2014 disappearance and presumed massacre of 43 students from a teacher's college in Ayotzinapa, Guerrero. Reuters reports new warrants are also being issued for local, state, and federal police. This week, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said he'll confirm new information on the case over the weekend on the 6th anniversary of the students' abduction. And in Brazil, Volkswagen has agreed to pay $6.4 million to former employees who were arrested and tortured after the car company reported them as subversives during Brazil's military dictatorship of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. In a settlement with Brazilian prosecutors, Volkswagen admitted it targeted union activists at its massive auto plant near Sao Paulo, where bosses spied on workers and reported outlawed newspapers and flyers to police. This is former VW employee Expedito Batista.
Porque ela realmente perseguiu. Volkswagen chased after the workers. They incarcerated us inside the factory. Workers were handed over to the Department of Political and Social Order, which was the political authority at the time. Volkswagen's conduct at the time was willful. This settlement does not completely satisfy us. We deserve more, given our rights, but this is better than nothing.
The settlement will compensate victims who were arrested, beaten, fired from their jobs, and then blacklisted, left unable to find employment for years. Brazil's far-right president, former Army Captain Jair Bolsonaro, has praised Brazil's military dictatorship and has called for the restoration of many of its policies. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The Quarantine Report. I'm Amy Goodman. When we come back, we look at President Trump's statement saying he refuses to commit to accepting the results of the upcoming election if his rival Joe Biden wins.
Which is where the block was before. Last time we came down this way, Mama, we were fucking seeing the fire on the mountainside.
Remarks have been criticized by both Democrats and Republicans. On Thursday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell tweeted, "There will be an orderly transition just as there has been every 4 years since 1792," unquote. But at the same time, McConnell is vowing to rapidly confirm Trump's soon-to-be-announced nominee to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. Earlier this week, Trump admitted he wants the Senate to rapidly confirm his nominee because the election could end up before the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, The Atlantic magazine has revealed Republican Party officials are looking at multiple ways to subvert the election process to ensure Trump stays in power. One option would be to have Republican-led state legislatures claim the results of the election to be fraudulent, then choose a slate of Republican electors to vote in the Electoral College regardless of the outcome of the actual vote. We're joined right now by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Barton staff writer at The Atlantic. His new piece is headlined
I told you, Maria, last year, the year before, this fool ain't gonna step down.
The author of several books, including Dark Mirror Edward
problem is,
Snowden
like, they're
and the
entertaining
American
that thought,
surveillance
so they're
state.
creating a
Barton, thanks so
probability.
much for
Yep.
joining
That's
us
all
on
I'm saying.
Democracy Now!
they're
Can
pushing
you
us towards
lay
it.
They
out
shouldn't
in
leave it up to
detail, no
him.
sound bites,
You know what I'm
please,
saying? Are you gonna step down? No,
what
it's
you
good.
found are the plans not only being talked
You know, they're
about,
letting
but
it
are
play in
actually
his head,
being
so it's
laid
a
out
possibility.
all over the country. And also, what then surprised you most?
The president is running a campaign that is premised on the idea.
So it's saying is, how does somebody
that
run Law and Order, but I'm going to replace these Supreme Court justices and so forth?
Win if all
Get
the votes are
inside,
counted.
change those,
And he's looking for
and then say
insurance
negate.
policies.
I ain't going to step out of this shit.
It begins with traditional Republican efforts to
Help all
suppress
kind of
the
people
vote
around
on
the
Election
world
Day.
that are fucking
And extends
dictators.
to this long campaign
Break up
he's
all
been
the
running
union
against
between
mail-in
America and its
ballots.
allies, so there's no
As a way
come
of
in and check and balance
delegitimating
and
them.
help or whatnot.
And
It's like, what's really going on?
laying the groundwork
Stir
for
up the pot of racial
a
division.
post-election
best
or
it can.
mid-count challenge that would be intended to stop the count, to lock in
Don't make it
whatever
go fast.
results there are on election night, when, because of the way he has divided the vote along partisan lines, there will be more Republicans, he forecasts, voting in person on election day, and more Democrats voting by mail with counts that will continue on past election night. And so, the mail-in vote is a way of stopping the overtime count that everyone is expecting now, because we're not going to have an election night, we're going to have an election week, perhaps, or longer, during which the provisional ballots and the mail-in ballots, the absentee ballots, will be counted. Now, among the things that some people are talking about is a maneuver that would start by saying that the count has been poisoned by fraud, has been rigged, is hopelessly mired in unacceptable conduct, and therefore that the count can't be relied upon. And we are all accustomed to the idea that electoral votes are distributed based on the way the popular vote goes in a given state. If somebody gets the most votes in my state, then that candidate gets that state's electoral votes. The Constitution does not actually guarantee that result. That's a decision that's made by each state, because the power to appoint electors is given in the Constitution to state legislatures. The idea circulating in the Trump campaign and among some of its allies
in a real world
is that under some circumstances they could ask state
somehow
legislatures
supposed
to
to
take
change
back
it.
that power and simply appoint Trump electors regardless of the vote count in the state.
Explain what loyal electors are, Barton.
Well, electors are pledged to one candidate or the other. Which electors are appointed depends usually on the outcome of the election. When I say usually, I mean for the past 150, 175 years. But in theory, and depending on state law and all kinds of other complexities, the Republican legislature of a state like Pennsylvania could choose to simply appoint electors who are pledged already to Trump based on their assessment that the vote count in that state is fraudulent or marred by fraud, and therefore that they are going to protect the will of the people by appointing Trump electors. In the 2000 recount between Bush and Gore,
which was such a
the
fraud.
Republicans actually started down this road.
That was such a bullshit.
The recount was still under litigation.
The Chad wasn't pushed in all the way.
The date for the Electoral College vote was approaching in December, when the Republican House in Florida passed a resolution to appoint electors in Bush's name, and the Senate was going to vote on the same day that who were conceded the election.
Why are you racing?
And since I mentioned concession, it's the premise of my article, and I try to explain why, that Trump's strategy is never to concede. That he may win, he may lose, but under no circumstances will he concede this election. That's a big problem because we don't actually have a mechanism for forcing a candidate to concede, and concession is the way we have ended elections. There's no grand umpire who has jurisdiction over the whole election, who can blow a whistle and say, when the election is over, you won, you lost, and make that stick. We have relied instead on the loser to accept reality when the time comes.
So you mentioned in your article that this will be the first election in 40 years to take place without a federal judge requiring the Republican National Committee to seek approval in advance for any ballot security operations at the polls. Why is this oversight so crucial, Barton?
Well, let me just give a backstory that helps explain that. In the 1981 gubernatorial election in New Jersey, the Republican National Committee organized what it called a ballot security task force. That was the euphemism. And it composed of a lot of off-duty law enforcement officers, sheriffs, and so forth, wearing guns, talking into radios, wearing ballot security armbands, who went to polling places in neighborhoods predominantly people of color, and in Trenton and Newark, and just bluntly to suppress the vote. They challenged people's
Getting smoky up here.
Hopefully U.S. attorneys to keep close watch on these polls in states more likely to vote Democrat or contested states like Florida and Texas. When you say you're going to have sheriffs there, you're going to have attorneys there, people are going to be afraid.
Well, you are forecasting a physical confrontation. Talking about law enforcement officers, talking about able-bodied people. Why do they need to be able-bodied? What are they facing here? What kind of atmosphere are they trying to create?
So when you started this piece to now when you published it, did you change your attitude? I mean, when people were saying, oh, if President Trump were to lose, he'll never leave the White House, others weren't that deeply concerned, whether he could be taken out of the White House. But this is a whole different story when you have an army of something like 1,000 Republican lawyers around the country who are going to challenge votes at every level, particularly focusing on mail-in votes. Yet at the same time, Trump is not quite sure if he's being too discouraging of mail-in voting for Republican voters. So at the same time, he's telling Republican voters, you can mail in your vote.
He is. Republican organizers were to win this election.
Just made it up to Brownsville. We're next to the airport.
To steal an election. They're using COVID.
It's like look like they staged here. That's why I was seeing all those lights on the trailers. Like I was telling Abuela, it's a fire camp. There are beautiful firemen and fire sisters that fought the fires up here, all the tents and such. Beautiful people. Beautiful souls.
Seriously, thank you.
Like a light mist smoke. freeze-all smell up here. Irritate. And those trailers I was talking to you about last night. I've been sitting there noticing from watching the back of the shop, the highway right there, noticing the different trucks and things that are out of the normal. Now I'm making a left at the corner of Brownsville's. I'm getting on LaPorte Road. Cold up here, no clouds. Going to the valley from up down there to up here. Need a jacket.
Oh yeah, it's cold.
Just now about to pass the cemetery in Brownsville. Cardboard and make a sign for firefighters and such. Get that pond and everything going. Past through Brownsville. Saying like the Saturday this happened, which was 6th, no, the 5th. Slow down. They still got that blocked off. New York House Road is still blocked, like it was on the 5th. When the boiler came up on a Saturday, which is crazy because when she was coming up that day, she couldn't. They had it blocked. She said it's because the tree had fallen down. We was talking about this the other day.
Where's the tree falling?
They still hadn't warned nobody, and with that road being blocked, that inhibits a big way of people being able to move about. Is blocked still. And then is the Y gonna be open?
No, I don't think the challenge cutoff is open.
Which is this right there?
No. Unless it did until today. No.
Challenge cutoff road is still closed. So, if we can get past Yuba Feather School, then we can get to the property. Or if not, pop up in the back of the fire camp, unknowingly, coming up the back way to the property. Somebody can drink. That's the crazy thing, dude. We're them changing that law where they got to do it with no gas cars. They got to figure out how we're going to get people up here and stuff.
Of course. That's ridiculous now.
Go to the water truck. Just now in a challenge. See no lights or nothing yet. Brother Dean. See, they lived on Circle Road. Across the
Never seen lights in that house anymore.
We just made it through challenge. Just made it through challenge. Just now passing Oregon Hill Road.
Take the dirt road?
Yeah. Just made it up Oregon Hill Road. Cars coming down. Smoky. Made it to the top of the hill. Get around a couple more turns and then we can take this little cut road real quick. Bypass Woodleaf.
So like, Lori's friends that bought their
And people's
challenge
car
cut
never
off,
left.
they still evacuated. Lori's friends, Lori Mescal,
Yeah.
her friends that leave over there of challenge cut off. They're still evacuating home.
See.
So they're not letting people up from Orville, but they have to cut here because this comes together. It's a loop. You can smell the fire, the smoke.
That cut off without going to Woodleaf. Feels good to be back in the trees. Blessings, you guys.
Hey, you were still standing tall. spend more than 3 weeks away from the mountains.
You're trying to spend more than a couple of hours, dude.
You staying up here tomorrow? Saturday?
Out. They got the dozer lines.
They did, didn't they?
The road's way open.
Yeah, feels wider. You see markers on the side. All these are
That's all
equipment.
bulldozer tracks. Now that collapsed on the side right there. Like I told you. They used our road for frontal assault on that to hold it back. They moved all the cats through, and that's why you can see on that map, overhead map, this go all the way down to Fortstown Reservoir Road. That's all bulldozer track, and we're driving over.
Damn. Had to take them a minute to get through all this.
And that bump.
Try to stop, like the RPMs. Feels wider.
They use this for the frontal assault on that. That tree that fell down on the side, it's not there no more or nothing. None of that stuff is
Yeah,
there.
they widened it up there to the side because just from running it over, because it was all dead.
It's like this bump right here. A lot of equipment came through this.
They complete the hole. They fill it up a little bit.
A lot of equipment came through this. Still
new
there.
Lines here, new like color things.
Yep. They've been driving up. Drive down, Mama. Let's see. There's our gate. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for saving our stuff. That green door's open, but everything's been tagged out. This is from our mill. They cut, drove all their cats and everything through this. Everything I've seen in my mind, the way this right here shows and proves, that's what I would have done militarily for front way offensive with aerial. They cut all this to go get their stuff through. So all that down in there is troublesome. If they don't get that shit stopped, dude, this shit's gonna turn into a whoosh. Give thanks. Give thanks. We got to do the same kind of lines and so forth through our property. property. So if something like this happens again,
They can get through.
God forbid, they got access and so forth to use through. Yeah, those are all new markers. We should be able to drive all the way down to Forbstown Road and take it to Clipper Mills if we take the dozer line. I've seen what they're doing. We can get down there and get some good crystal spots. So we just drove through our property. Like you guys heard them say on the CAL FIRE report and so forth, they're going to try to make good use of all these old crazy old roads that go nowhere and so forth. I was going to fuck this road up where you can't get back to it because it's not on the map or nothing except for the part that's fire property and extend it out where you can't drive through her stuff no more, the tip no more. I'm so thankful I didn't.
They went this way down.
See?
You want to drive? Down?
Sure. Go crystal hunting now. This always worries me and Marie about somebody starting a fire back off in here. That's why I was gonna mess the road up.
Oh. Wow.
These are the dozer lines.
And it's all cleared up. You see no trees.
Literally the fire's right down here. I was saying in my post, came close. Push that stuff out that way. And this is that meadow that was between our property and below us is Forbstown Reservoir Road.
So people come down here, huh?
Or they were able to hold it off. They pushed and skated this out.
Is the road continuous there?
See, it goes down that way
That way.
and that way.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around.
I mean, this is an opening
This
spot.
would be beautiful to ride bikes down here or see, like, explore.
See?
Look, they clean right up.
Yeah, these are the dozer tracks.
You can hear the water.
Must be a creek over there.
Yeah, you hear? Whoa, I need to come in the morning.
That's the reservoir.
I hear the water.
I need to get that trailer up here installed. stuff moved around.
Get what?
No, the stuff from the shop.
Oh.
We'll be coming into town with you and secure everything.
Gotcha.
See how the plasma bottles did for the garden? They had water in 17 days. Shielding, we're thinning. Leave that water hole open. Man, it's crazy to see that done like that. I'm like, what? And it's like thousands of motherfucking firefighters. Sending them information and vice versa. Right, motherfucking now. Fuck you, Keshe. I'll get you back, buddy. I got you. Almost sank our battleship. Reconfigured aboard.
You widen that up a little bit. Should I go on the other side of the
Yes,
stuff?
other side. The cats went up that way. That's what I'm saying. They didn't at all have the intention for it to hit the Wheeler plantation or Woodley. There's no trucks or nothing for it going up that way. They had no means or plans for it to hit or get towards Woodley. Why did they push it towards Forbstown? And all those mining claims there.
Because they're going to grab them probably.
It's from Brush Creek all the way down. I've seen so many people asking about their mining claims and so forth. But claims, but not mines, like what we have, a mine. What we're at is mines. And it's like, interesting. Because they didn't harvest the whole full side of that mountain on the other side, where the Woodleaf Canal is. So this is kind of strange. That's super dense. If it would have got out of control at Lost Creek, it would have burnt down this way, up over the top. There ain't no tracks or nothing like that. It's guiding into that camp, that like I was saying, they guided it to that shit. That's why I said for us it'd be the worst case scenario is that fire went that way. There ain't been a fire in there, but that follows the route of the 75 miles of Victor Schroberger.
Yeah.
All that shit right there is all fucking interesting mines and Pelton wheels and da 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 da.
We're gonna take screenshots of the latitude and stuff and see. There we were at 39 something.
So we need to clear cut all this. I've been saying. First, we gotta get these trailers moved. There's a carbon container up here for the shop.
Do you want to move the wallet?
Home sweet home. Hook back up. Flexible solar panels. So far. Our battery banks charged back up.
See the plants. It's a bunch of umbrellas.
Flashlights.
These guys need a little support, but because it's really so many butts on top.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Need just some support.
What is doing that to it? Oh, right there.
They're gonna thirsty. That's 3 weeks.
No water, well, is that plasma? No water since the 8th. And those leaves are perky. Those leaves are perky. Perky. Plasma, plasma. All the animals are here still, the mama deer and everybody. Give thanks. Feels good to be cooking at home again.
Okay.
I said, this feels good to be cooking at home again. The only thing they eat here is stuff falling from the trees. And the crickets doing prayer. Instead of bang bang cloud. traumatic impact noises and noise pollution in the city. Concussions, vibrations, the huge trucks, pieces of crystal, carrying crazy consumer products everywhere. See the deer? You're used to us not being here. This is telling Abuela. If you stay below the plastic, she can't see you.
Do you think it's her first time? Because she tripped on something. Or was it because of your light?
The videos that I had to delete to make space for the ones that we did that day when I thought I forgot the USBs on the 8th from that weekend where I was explaining to you I was sitting here chilling with the mama deer
I'm just saying, if she's
and
alone,
her
it could be
twins
another deer.
and her twins, that so on and so forth. That's why I was trying to tell you about your plants, and it's funny, I was telling you about your plants so the deer were eating it. And I felt that, that's why I grabbed the flashlight really quick, so I was like, wait a minute. She was pretty quiet. She snuck up on us. They're still over there. And that's why I grabbed the flashlight, and I was like, wait a minute. That reserve battery, putting it on there is not too bright on the external lights. And because of the fire. And so I was saying to you what I was saying. Popped up and said, gotcha, like that, and
You were good.
she jumped off. I couldn't see it though.
She was really close too. I was really gonna be down the stairs and walking into the stairs, and not really. We do have that in here.
I'm sitting here giving thanks. Oh man, I'm so glad that it's not the city, but as soon as we got out of the car, I was like, we gotta get the lights on. I'm scared. Not scared, but just scared. Like the old feeling of not gonna get robbed by nobody or none of that kind of stuff is not gonna happen in a sense, but someone can pick me up and take me off into the tree and eat my ass. So
way worse.
I need to be on my tippy toes. Where's my flashlight? My other knife, so on and so forth. Blade. My things, back to the routine. Back to where I feel safe. And comfortable. Or something to eat. I feel like I might have a chance. But who knows? As long as I fight, I might have a chance. As long as I keep my skills and my wits about me. She can sneak up on me. That's the thing. No, ever get caught slipping in a mountain. Something will get you. Maybe yourself. Or something else. And let you know that you're part of life. Thanks. I was worried about you. Worried about you. Forest, woodland creatures, and roommates. If y'all was all dispersed and distracted and scattered out, to get everything built up so y'all can be all cool and shit.
I was worried about y'all, and I rarely get worried about anything.
Different routine though. Figure something out with your arrangement with the plants there.
No, that's stupid. I should have put them in
They would just plant some things where they can eat. them and ones that you don't want. We have them in a different spot. And set up where they got enough other stuff to eat or they'll leave them alone, hopefully. I'm more worried about our other roommate doing that shit to me. Again, those ones. Maybe it's the one with the higher pitched growl or the other one. The lower one.
I don't know. Because the kids don't know how to behave or play either.
Right. You want the adult mountain lion or the baby? I'm glad they're able to find refuge from this time here. As they are too. Waywarders, sojourners on this vagabond marble flying through the universe. Quantum vapors, the quantum cloud.
Oh shit.
I think we could.
Oh, I think we're making a fire.
Do my obligation, Mohad.
There's no obligation.
You talking about what you asked me, sucker? Make you a fire. A fire for you, so nice. Might be underneath a piece of cardboard. Might be underneath a piece of bark.
I know.
Some plastic or some
You're
tarp.
more towards the cardboard, yeah.
Some plastic or some tarp.
You're more towards the cardboard, and for some fucking reason you got a fascination with tarps.
What?
It's like the adult Lego for you. You just
I'm
think you
about
can
tarps.
build everything from fucking tarps.
Hold on a minute. Oh, wow.
What?
Who got the tarps, yo? You got me fucked up, homie. I ain't doing all collecting tarp. Not been me. Carports and all that, they're all tarped and tarp. It's been you, Miss. You need a toothpick? You need a toothpick, homie?
You're silly.
I'm silly. You can't just say that one. Excuse me. The
You're
tarps
solving
and shit.
everything with a tarp. You're
How?
like, we just
I
put a
made
tarp
shit
out.
with rocks and dirt and sand and fucking the wood bark and shit, and you're over here with the tarps.
That's what I'm saying. Where's the conflict? Where's the disconnection?
You're with the tarps. I'm not with the tarps.
I'm with the tarps. Really. I'm of the tarp club.
You're the one that went out the tarps and said, "Let's get tarps."
You
Then
didn't seem to get off the ground.
Then you modified the tarps.
Yeah, because you didn't seem to get off the ground still.
What do you mean? I got a hole dug down there by the road. This is another hole dug down on the other part of the road.
You want to make me laugh.
Some water.
You want to make me laugh, right? I got a hole dug down the road.
See? There was another one dug for some water.
You're the boy every woman want to bring home,
We got some rocking stuff over there. You had me putting all this time and work and all this other stuff that I ain't had no time to do the hole.
No, I trust. I just am a big believer, right?
It's a nice tear.
Huh?
It's a good tears of happiness.
I don't feel like I'm camping, honestly. I don't feel. For me, camping is like packing up and unpacking, packing up and unpacking, packing up and unpacking. That's when I go camping.
Yeah. You're always changing the
No.
camping definition.
No.
It's like floating definition, Webster's. Maria's Webster's floating camping, her internal camping definition. Preset of what she feels if she's camping or not camping.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm gonna grab a mattress every time I feel like coming up. I don't want to feel like I gotta put something up.
You didn't have to bring a mattress every time you came up. That was your choice.
No, because I like to sleep in a mattress.
But that's your choice. You
Well,
didn't
yeah,
have to.
honey, of course.
But you didn't have to.
Anything that you bring other than yourself is your choice.
Even yourself, but I'm just saying, you stating camping was taking a mattress down and bringing a mattress up. I'm stating you didn't have to bring it up or take it down, but you didn't. You could left it up here, and then you didn't have to feel like you're camping, right?
Yeah, I guess.
What do you mean? You guess? Wouldn't that just?
No, I was gonna continue my friends.
Alright.
I said I guess I had a camping mentality, so
Something wrong,
I couldn't get out of that.
But if that's all it was you're camping, but it's kind of backwards when you state that, but you like fucking going shows where all you're doing is packing up, unloading and packing up.
No, I enjoy that.
I'm just like, but you're camping.
Yeah, but none of my everyday necessities and.
But if that's what you're doing from show to show, isn't your everyday necessities, weirdo?
No, I'm not doing shows every fucking day. It's like having a shop that you gotta pack and unpack every day.
But we did that.
Yeah, for like a week or a month.
You know, but I'm saying we did it longer than that. We went to shows, unpacked the store, unpacked.
People mature.
We repacked the store and then
I feel like I mature.
unpacked the store and
My
went to a
energy
show.
levels are not the same.
That's not maturing. I mean, that's just like fucking petering out.
Give me a break here.
We did a 3-day show and then unpacked and came back, unpacked and fucking restocked the shop and then was in the store for 2 days or 3 and then Next weekend did the show, and then
Then
came
put it
back
back
and
on the
put the
shelf.
shelf on the shelves and said hello for a couple of days, and then next weekend went and. So I'm like, you got it, didn't you, dude? If you work. You saying necessities and all that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You was there sitting there in front of me, go, oh wait, no you weren't. You're always swimming and shit the whole motherfucking time. Making up some excuse to get away from the booth. Talking about, oh, there goes swimming, I'll be right back with you. And fucking a couple hours later, I'm like, dude, are you gonna work this weekend, homie? I'll get your ass back at the store. But we did do it. It is possible. You wasn't saying that it was Cameron. I'm still trying to figure out how we had that hot water, cold water dispenser running. Shit had to been plugged in. Sure that wasn't an extension cord somewhere? No, because they didn't provide power. Where the fuck did it let it go? I gotta figure it out right now. Where the fuck did it come in? I couldn't solve, but I could take it and fuck it off. I can't ever redo the experiment to figure it out. That's perfect. We just get one of them, a little module, one of those going hot water, cold water, hooked up with the solar cells done properly. And hot water on tap, cold water on tap.
Yeah, see how much those cost, the newer models, because so how much electricity they take. It just say in the back. Even the ones that they got in thrift stores and stuff, they're fairly new models.
You can just modify them. I mean, it's a tankless hot water, cold water tank, wrapped in one. Use like a little system like that with a nice solar cell to it, and be able to do like a radiant heating, radiant cooling in one of those domes or whatever, or in the small trailer or in the big trailer.
Well, I was thinking the little trailer, since the dome, has a door, but technically it's not lockable, because, you can lock it, but if somebody wants to take something from it, you just get through this plastic, right? So, I was thinking the computer, like the iMac, that I'm gonna use it eventually, for printing maybe, or editing before I print.
You're gonna have to have that in the cargo container or something else.
Well, yeah, and the casita I was thinking in the little trailer.
Why, that's just a grade above that pocket knife I can stick through the wall.
And then put it in the, have the little desk that I have it in the cargo container. And
figure out in blue things. That Grange and supply place, I found it online. And Steve said that they get these things for Habitat.
oh yeah, what was the regular price?
Let's see, I just found some depressing note of mine. I didn't actually follow through with looking into it. I just Google search, looked at it, and showed him it, and was like, this style? I said, yeah. Swung back and fine.
Not too hungry. For all the information.
No, I don't know why I fucking repeated that on that. We left from there, and mine went blank. This is only just now thinking about it now. running through my mind what we're doing. But he told me the name, and I thought you see me show the phone and ask him, Granger.
Yeah, but I thought you might see the price.
No. It doesn't have like.
It's one of those that
It's
is
an
like
industrial type thing where they had like hella shit. So.
They might be like, contact us and we'll send you a quote.
Pretty much type thing, but then they had other stuff there, so it was like wanting to look through it with you to see like what could work that would be.
Would you put the raised on that so the bottom of the can don't stick?
What would be beneficial? Maybe we can find something that that we could use double edge, double wise, I guess, in a sense.
You want to steer it, babe? Thank you. You got it okay?
No. It's been alright since I cut my tendons. It's been alright since I cut my wrist with the chainsaw. And the tendons and stuff. They healed. Modalities and so forth. And, range of motion. Weight affixed to it and so forth is certain. In some spots you're doing certain things is starting to become an issue. I don't know if it's from those tendons getting messed up or thumb from that tree doing such. Figure it out fast. It's chainsaw time. I cut up some of our right here for you. Need to sleep. Let's see.
This is. I think you're sitting on that. The little girl today. The mom's hand started sweating. Like swollen. Yeah. And the little girl was like, so you got rocks that are good for stuff? And I was like, yeah, you got this and that. And one of them, obsidian, was like, it said like for telling the truth. So she looked at me and she's like, so for not lying? And I was like, yeah. And so she's like, my mom needs one of those. And she looked at me and she says, yeah, and that's what she said. And then the mom, when the mom was at the cashier, the girl was like, Mom, they got one crystal for an outline. And the mom said, yes, I need one of those. I got a problem with alcohol and I deny it. You could tell, like, the little girl was raising the baby more than the mom. It was crazy. So I gifted the little girl a bracelet, a rose gold bracelet. And the girls, I gifted them both a court so they would put it in their pillowcase. I gave the mom the lithium. I said, listen, I'm really not trying to sell you anything. I'm gifting you this, but this week we got a lady come. I gifted her these on Friday and she came back on Monday with 3 of her friends. You know? And I said she just had a baby too, and she said that her observation was that she woke up and she felt like wanting to be there. And she was like, oh my god, I need that.
I'm going through postpartum.
Well, she had a baby who died at that house, she said, and then she had this recent baby now. And I told her, you work on yourself. You work on yourself and the decisions you're making. Work on your heart chakra. She was like, yeah, I went somewhere and they like cleanse them, and I was like, yeah, but you had them do it for you, and you after that you went back to what you do. I was like, you come here for sake because your people told you that the environment that you're in, you need to cleanse yourself because you have all this energy around you. And look inside, sister, because I said, is it the house that you may, maybe energy from previous tenants, or is it like you yourself sweating it off, like? And she's like, my house looks so cluttered. And I was like, well, we were just talking about it, when your mind is cluttered, your house looks cluttered. And she's like, I understand that. And she was like really like soaking it in, like very receptive. She was like, I need you to come because I need to stop. She drinks. She had alcohol problem. And she had told me that before the kid had said something. But it was cute, the conversation. The kid, sad, but cute. The kid pointing it out. And the kid, the first thing the kid comes to me when the mom was reading the heart chakra, the kid turns around and she's like, do you have any crystals for protection? I was like, what would you like protection for? From? And she smiled at me, and I was like, here, let's walk you through. But she had to hold the baby, so it was like really kind of. And the mom was like, I should have left the baby. I was like, but if you would have left the baby, I would have never met her. She was like, you could tell, like, I don't know, her tolerance was like low towards the baby, and everything. So, like, wanting to give her some, like, bright side. That's why I gave her, well, she bought a piece of lepidolite and she bought a piece of rose quartz and told her to make it house water. She said they have like a filter thing they use, so she's gonna use the water and then the drops. and then she got herself a rose quartz. And he told her in between sages cleansing to work on these concepts, to work on these things, because it's like you're gonna, it's like not, it's like paying for somebody to, and because I said something about, and she said something about it feels like the universe is cleansing all these people out of my life that they're not good for me. I was like, yeah, but you can't just rely on the universe doing all the work. You gotta first put work too, and know your role, but then you're co-creating and manifesting what you want the universe to bring too. So don't just rely on the universe, because yeah, it's good, but then get responsibility too, because I said, because if not, that energy form is going to come in a different face, and before was the kid's dad, and then you're going to go out and get another person, on the same note, because you haven't worked on it, and the universe is going to do so much of weeding people out, but you just find yourself in the same situation. The universe is going to be like, all right, this is the conversation you want to have. And at least that's how I presented it to her, or how I see it. So I told her, work on self, work on see what what you been programmed, what are the things that mom and dad haven't worked on. I told her about maybe she would eventually, once she has worked on things, then she can turn around and help her mom or plant some seeds, on helping her mom, because she had followed a lot of the things that. But she realized, she was like, I have a chemical imbalance. So I was like, yeah, that's what it is. And all these crystals got minerals, and that's when we went like the lithium route. She's like, I'm depressed, I got a chemical imbalance. Gabriel said they were drinking too much, huh? And when the parents come around, they drink a lot. Them two are really not giving themselves time to like know each other. Throwing a baby in a pot, another baby in a pot, and then like the parents coming and visiting for months, and I was like, get them a yurt, have them stay there. I mean, you can put a compostable toilet in the yurt, have a bed, have a stove. It doesn't even get that cold.
Todd said his words and his communication line, or how much he as baby's mom. She's not married. I was trying to bridge that gap, or non-gap, or whatever. Say it's because of alcohol or non-alcohol, but people say that when you're drunk, you say the truth. So, it could be, it can be whatever. I wish the best for them. Alcohol would definitely take them down a funky path if it's not checked. My words helped, if little scene. Addressing the fact and sticking to it. Hopefully they do. Myself, I'm like, it's cool to hear. You seem like when you're pregnant, but don't want to go to your house and find out that it's not the truth. But at least for you, it's the truth, and I gotta fucking deal with him again. Where I'm like, dude, can you check your kid? Cause like your kid's like getting annoying to me. Like I had to do, and I just felt like shit like for it. But it's like, dude. And then our own misgivings were like, okay, he's not fucking moving forward with this stuff, and you still got this issue that we have, sister, where that's going on, and you're not seeing the point that I'm trying to make to you. And you should, because now you're a parent. Your mindset and so forth has to think in a different manner. It's not just you anymore getting high, sister. Money doesn't make everything go away, so your justification for things and so forth for doing something do come with a consequence now. You'll learn. Otherwise, you'll see your kids go through some bullshit because y'all been passed it to them on purpose when someone's openly telling you, I'll work on these things. And you say you don't want to work on it. When you have kids with somebody, that's the dumbest thing to do, because that's what makes relationships not work. The things that you're stating, fuck all that, dude. I'm not saying her, I'm saying him. The police said to me that day as well. I'm good. That mentality right there. I hope she knows that's what you have in store. If not, boy, she's gonna have a rude awakening. I'm trying to have something more. And you're just like,
because it'll be that perfect case in that where she puts the work in and she tries to change and can't.
and you're gonna have one resentful fucking G. Stop her, love her saying this, but you'll have harmony. You have a little harmony. Stop her, love. She's gonna have to radically change everything that she knows, if not go into it harder than anything.
To set the tone. Because the way that they have already set it ain't good. Well, how they met was, he had the tattoo, the piercing shop. And I guess she was friend of who he has a gold company with, which they do gold jewelry. Like they fabricate their own gold. Like they fabricate their own gold septums and.
But that was them. It's like, if you have a fabrication thing going on, then
they had
that should still be going.
Well,
There's
they
no
had
way
it
that
the warehouse in Loma Rica, and she said that last week he had to go get everything because they said that they sold the property and they couldn't have the factory there no more. When she came drop off the bins, I was like, "Where's Todd?" And she's like, "He's working."
It makes no sense on where'd the clientele go? You don't lose clientele like that. If you're doing fabrication pieces, then you have a repertoire of people that want your stuff.
Well, yeah, because they were selling it in their 3 shops in Berkeley, retail and stuff, and wholesaling, I guess. Yeah, but she was saying they were pulling like $10,000 months, you know, yeah, or more. It's like us closing, but they close by choice.
Where's the clientele subset at?
Do you think he was just selling drugs?
I'm just saying, where's the clientele subset at? If you can't disclose a thing and not have no connection to something and still have people fucking not bug you for your art. Where's your clientele? Where's your base? Where's your Trump base at? That's not shaking no matter what. You can't just step out of the market after building something up as such where you have 3 stores where there's not people still asking you. There's people walking around. If you've been in it long enough, if your art was well, then you have,
set it up to move it
again,
online or something,
that's
but
what
you
I'm
don't
saying,
just...
is where's your clientele subset at?
I have to ask her.
Like, how do you just drop out of something without having, like, fucking, you know, we're dropping out of opening the store in another place because there's nowhere for us to rent, but we're trying to open up here. If we're able to, we can reopen a store in Marysville or something if we're able to.
Not just
if
stop
something
altogether.
opens up, but just, we're not stopping Etsy, Facebook,
And it won't
everything.
be something that we won't be doing, like we want to do shows or stuff. I don't hear him talking about...
Nothing. That's what I'm saying, is how do you drop out of the retire? Like full, like in a sense you're, you just quit working. Not even for yourself, but not even for yourself. There hasn't been like a game plan stated or whatnot for the continuance of money coming in, because now you have 2 babies. And it was like Dawn, or the guy that she was with that was doing the jewelry fabrication, doing the same. How do you build up a repertoire and then stop? Not saying he stopped, but I'm saying it'd be like the same. Him building up a repertoire and all of a sudden saying I stopped. Well, we have this clientele they're asking, like, where's my... Let me get another piece, bro. Be it that you stop, now it's worth more. Let me get this collector piece. So on and so forth. Let me get this collector tattoo. This clarcel piercing or whatever. I mean, you had to build up a repertoire of fucking people. If that...
I think they're both really impulsive.
If that was the mindset or what he offered and so forth that people like. Because, I mean, there's only so much that you can do with just selling stuff. It's you also. I mean, it's like with us. There's only so much you can do with selling crystal. It's who's selling the crystal. It's the person talking and so forth and everything. The salesman. So it's like, how do you do that for years and walk away and not have people
And they have
asking?
just got back from restocking from Tucson.
Same with having a child. With that, those people aren't asking. I don't know. Like if that was us hypothetically, I'd be having a GoFundMe and other things like that, and like a thing set up to where the people in the art world or stuff that they do or he does, like I would have a thing set up like showing our kids like progressing, like showing like a way like donate, like how do you watch our family grow with us, so on and so forth, like type thing. Like, get us through this. Like here I am fabricating with the babies, and the babies having ingots or whatnot, and while he's smelting, doing the trade still, setting stone or whatnot. If that was what you're making, what you were doing was fabricating pieces for stuff. I mean, shit, you could be making money on the side setting stones and shit for Orlando, them's tattoo shops. Making custom pieces or just doing simple things on fucking Facebook. I mean, shit, those fabricated pieces go for $1,200 to $3,000, $4,000 a piece. And then you throw the crystals in and you're like, fuck. I mean, people pay for that shit. I was like amazed by it, but still though, I'm just like, from watching that and seeing how people were just into that, I'm like, what were you doing in that field? Because in that field, they're doing that kind of artwork. I mean, I've had friends that fly from one part of the United States to one part of the world to do a tattoo from one specific artist and spend $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for it, and several other friends flying with them, and these exhibits. And it's like, if you're part of that world, how do you not still have that, and you walk away and not have a exit plan or some kind of means or low or whatever? I don't know.
No, she actually today when I said it's close to 20 pounds, she said like, oh, she was super surprised, but then she was like, I told Todd we can just do this all the time. Sort of like this can be our livelihood.
This is crazy. It's going to take forever for the day to go by. I'm just going to lay down and go to sleep. On purpose, because he doesn't want to be awake. Because of the noise and stuff. And it's already almost midnight.
Yeah, here it flies. I mean, town is like an hour goes by and I'm like...
How have we been talking this long without you telling me or whatever? Fucking that bullshit you do. You talked to me. Too long. But no, you understand what I'm saying? These people pulling this bullshit, the hoodwink. So you're over here saying that, and I'm like, that's why I asked you. And I say you can't be for fucking pro-rights and fucking be for a death penalty at the same time. Where it's like, you're justifying your mom's words, you're justifying your own thing because of what you've lived in your country, right? But yet,
No, I'm not
by
justifying, I
stating,
understand them.
okay, well, if you understand them, but you're still on record, someone stating to you the way that you're stating, you sound like a trumpeter. I'll state that. If Trump was your president and the rules, then you would be for Trump and your president, but you're not for Trump here. You understand? So I'm saying you can't be pro-choice and fucking be against abortion and be pro-life or stuff for life. You can't be for fucking death penalty and be fucking against abortion and like abortion but be against the death penalty. It don't make sense. So when I asked you and you agreed, in the sense of, not in the sense of, but when I asked you, if you're not against the state of California's ruling and law that they did where your money is getting given to people that are considered illegal immigrants, if you don't have a problem with that, which is socialism, but you're over here fucking rooting with your mother against socialism and stating that the fucking people there are whining because they get $1,000 so they have 10 kids. I'm like, that don't make no sense to me. Because you're against that in your country, but you're for it here in this state. And that's retarded to me.
I think it all depends on how it's motivated.
And that's why
I'm not against everybody having equal opportunities, but the reason why people they don't have the equal opportunities, that's why they're in that spot.
If I may finish, that's how you have there's racist ass shit going on right now, super rolled out in this country right now, super hard, is because of that disparity. And those who supposedly have something, getting something, and guess what, Maria? Those who don't have to work are getting something. And you said that you're not against that in this country, but you're against that in your country.
No, I see what you say. I think that
it don't make no sense, homie. It don't make no sense. My beautiful wife, and you get in an argument with me, dude. And I'm like, hold on, man. That don't make no motherfucking sense. What you're saying, and the way that you're defending it, you're just defending the dictatorship, and it makes it seem like I'm attacking you, but you gotta look at it. If you accept the ruling of our governor changing state of California law, and we're middle class, and your family had to point that out to you, that you're middle class in America, which is dwindling, getting smaller and smaller by the fucking second. because of laws and shit like that, the where it makes the disparity between the rich and poor and supposedly middle class or whatever to the poor. But what's poor if I don't have to work? Well, we work our ass off and you get free money. I told you I had no issue with that, because it's like, fuck, I don't believe in money. If there's enough for you to get this, and motherfuckers got enough to where you can give some lottery shit and some other fake shit and some more digits here and some digits there and fucking whatever. But what I explained to you also when I did that was watch what happens, because you're gonna get motherfuckers pissed off at people that came here not for say it freeloading it, but because the country that they live in is fucked off enough to where they made a trip to try to get the fuck away from that and a better life for themselves. So instead of giving them free money or making a thing to where it can be politicized, let's take that money that you give to them and change it in their country so they don't have the need to come in here. Exactly. But we never wish to go that route. We always wish to keep it in a politicization fucking
I feel
loophole.
like the issue comes because we don't understand compassion. Compassionately, we don't see the issue as then people do not want to be there. So if I don't see no problem, but at the same time I see problem because you're giving your kid an anxiety pill just to fit in the program. You're enabling yourself. You're putting yourself in that situation just so you can get a benefit of the program. It's like that mother that came in the shop, the girl, right? She's 16, 17. She had a kid. She had another kid that her mom was blind. She's giving the 3-4-year-old little girl that stutters. Remember, she talks really weird. The little girl? Yes, yes. She was like, yes, yes. She started giving her girl anxiety pills. It's like, what are you doing? She don't know anything else. She herself don't know anything else because she's been on pills her whole life, and she's been in a household where it was all fair welfare. So it's the way that I see it is I just don't think that it's conducive. I think that the money can be given to people, but I don't think it's conducive. It's not doing them any favor, and it's not in where they want to be either. The problem here is not so much with poverty and the plans, it's more with pharmaceuticals, which is political too. It's more with pharmacopoeia and plans because people are all in disability and pharmacopoeia and shit. And then in Argentina, it's not so much people on pills, like legal drugs, but it's people on non-legal, like illegal drugs. And it's just poverty. Then people don't have a roof over their head. Then people just literally don't have. There's no such a thing as Section 8 in Argentina. It's like you live on the side of the highway, and then next to you it's a fucking skyscraper, you know? The problem in Argentina, Ezekiel, is like there's no middle. There's like no middle. There's no in betweens. You got middle class, and there's like a whole gap, and then there is poverty. Here you got, we are sort of supposedly middle class, and then there's like people that are what it looks like middle class, you know, like people that got their housing paid for or they get assistance and whatnot, and then you get people on the street, poverty. And this is something that started like in the last 15 years, 20 years. It's been just rampantly super accelerated rate. It's been just like more and more and more and more and more and more and more kids on the street, and more kids on the street, and kids that we're talking about people that don't have no opportunity and would never have no opportunity. Not because I'm dictating they won't have a chance in life. I'm just saying because of their environment, it's just giving them no opportunity. It's kids that they might just be riding the bus, the trains all day. That they just run trains, you know, and they do drug deals, and they just run trains, or they live in a section that they just like surveillance it, and then the police never comes in. You know, that is like, and they live like stuck up, and these in
Like
tarp,
the projects.
like tarp cities and shit like that. And like the land where they live in, it's been taken, you know, so now there's a whole city, and it's like shit like that. And yes, then people are asking for a pillow because they don't. I bet they don't motherfucking have a pillow. But at the same time, it's like you're gonna give them a pillow, and that's not really gonna give. I mean, yes, it's gonna give them the dignity of them not striking for a pillow, but at the same time, it's not gonna get them out of the system. Is not, you're not building the system to where it would take them out to where they're at. It's just like, let me give you the pillow, and I just go, dude, and fly my own, like, you know, jets in on private planes just to go from here and there, and you know, get all these imported clothes while I close importations in the country and do ridiculous shit like that. It's just obscene, and it's like the same people that literally are having you like their god. You're all dressed in gold, and they're like starving, and then people like think you're their idol, and it's like, how do they not see the disparity? And they don't see nothing wrong with it.
That's what was my question when we first met. And
because it's not that the president is dressing up like Pepe Mejia, you know, all like us.
Yeah, but
she's dressing up like.
But I'm stating it was my issue where I'm sitting outside of Victoria's Secret, and each one of those pair of fucking pieces of fabric would feed someone for how many years?
$5 underwear. And at the same time, it's not that like, it's like they wouldn't make underwear in the country, and the only things that you could buy, they were hella expensive. So it's like, for my mom, was at the time, it was even convenient to just buy 3 bras here instead of having to buy like a bra at home. One bra that she would buy at home, it would be 3 bras here. But I understand, because then you're coming abroad and you're contributing to their own problem. You know, it's like things that even like now how globalization is, when you don't even have to travel, but we're consuming products from China, and we're like enslaving people in their camps. So it's like we're constantly feeding into that system, and we're constantly enslaving ourselves directly or indirectly, or if we want it, or you know, first hand or second hand. I feel that we're constantly getting the effects of that. But I do believe that it's like, I don't know if you saw the picture that I sent you today, but I do believe that a lot of it has to do with the compassion. And I don't know if it has to do or not, but remember when we were starting to read on when Monsanto had launched their patent for the glyphosate, and one of the things that it said that it did was like alter the mammals compassion center and like their whole sensitivity center. Remember that it didn't really do shit for the plant, but it did like for the mammals and their senses. And
that was at what the fuck was that shit called? It was Zircon or some shit. That was the stuff from the grape revolt. I didn't fart.
No, the what? I couldn't hear you.
The grape revolt from 1986.
Great revolt.
Grape.
Oh, grape.
See. From Che Guevara, the Spanish Day for Labor Day? You know, the Grape Revolt? It was Zyklon. Not Zyklon B, but it was that stuff that was sprayed down in Southern California that got the Spanish workers sick. That was sprayed on the field over. And people got sick as shit from it spraying over.
The next day, like 12 hours later.
And the ambulance drivers didn't know how to speak Spanish. They were having an issue with helping the people. But they showed it on Bunker Z Now and so forth. It was the same stuff that brother had but got everyone to stop, the farm workers to come together to fight against having that stuff used. It was like Zyklon or Zerk.
It's a chemical shitty ass product.
It had an interesting name to it. But yeah, it made it to where the plants didn't feel itself, its nervous system and so forth, and then mammals ate it. It made it to where your compassion and so forth went away. It acted like what happens when there's dopamines or antidepressants in the water. And then do the studies on mice and shit.
And I feel like that's what's happening, and because a lot of people have their root chakra completely off.
Fuck no, dude. How do you say that when you say you're not for what you're for in this country? I'm just trying to understand my way.
I just explained to you the way that they're presenting it to, at least to me. I don't think that
you're trying to put it that you're a victim of some fucking shit in the water or the food. That you lost your compassion because of fucking glyphosate.
No, I'm saying in the situation here. I was saying that globally, and I was saying in the situation
so
here.
People globally that have compassion for one group have lost compassion for another group because of the food. You've lost your compassion completely, yo? I mean, that don't make no sense to me, honey. Come on, stop digging a hole. I'll stop fucking with you. I'll leave you alone. I'm just playing with you, honey. This is something that I'm saying, like, as you were talking earlier about your friend G and Todd. Fucking our friends. Fucking, I was saying this is what him saying that he wouldn't wish to have is an introspection of what's going on in your fucking dome. Not yours, but G's that he had a baby with, too. That's all I'm asking, because fucking, again, you're trying to say some shit, and I'm like, okay. So you're trying to say glyphosate inhibits you from having compassion for people in Argentina?
Ezekiel, what I say prior to that.
California?
Ezekiel, what I say prior to that. Come on.
I'm just fucking with you.
What I say prior to that.
What did you say prior to it? What? That you're for the death penalty, but you fucking... You're for the death penalty. You're for the death penalty, but
you still say the same shit.
You're for the death penalty, but you're against abortion.
Thank you. You just said the same shit like half an hour ago. So there's no word in my saliva.
What the fuck are you saying? You're trying to say glyphosate inhibits you from having
no, because you're missing a whole 20 minutes of conversation.
From what? You said fucking...
You see, you're just talking in your head.
You're for fucking... this whack ass bullshit.
But I said before that the way that they present to a person, the way that they're presenting the system is not for resolving or bringing any resolution to the people's issues. So
that has to be for fucking take money from people that work and give it to fucking people that aren't working in this country.
I ain't got no problem with that in any way. I don't have that problem with them doing it in Argentina either.
Oh shit.
I'm just saying in either of the cases, I don't think that it's resolving anything.
No, it's not.
That's it.
Because it causes what? Confliction between the two groups. Because where would you want to be? In the working side or the side receiving? But what all are you receiving?
I'm alright in the working side because I like what I do. I'm not resentful to people that don't work.
I didn't say that you were. I just said, well, side would you want to be on? The working side or the receiving side?
But it depends what you're receiving.
That's what I'm saying. You're getting shit, but What all are you getting?
Yeah, exactly.
And you working, what are you working?
Yeah. But why is there has to be classes? Because people got desires.
People put themselves in a class. You got the disparity because in countries where people think that they don't want to get their hands dirty, so you got to get these things where people make an exuberant amount of money or whatnot for, like, say, sports or other things, where it's like, the work for that, you know, it's hard to get that ball to be whatever, but it's like, not everybody's a professional fucking hammer person or fucking, you know,
Tile working or
teacher.
masonry or...
Teacher or some shit.
And they're not making billions of dollars for sure.
No. Because that deflection of, say, perception and group mentality think of how you can get a bunch of stupid motherfuckers is... I was asking you the other day, even though you don't know that much about politics or sports, you know more about sports and where a person's born at than you do about politics, in a sense. Even though your family's enveloped in politics, but chooses not to be in politics. And it's like people in America, only time they're into politics or into things like that, not in the sense to say politics, they're just having an idea. I mean, things don't have to be political, but if you wish to say a political idea, something that you wish to change a coffee cup, like from a coffee cup to a wine glass. I mean, a political agenda or whatever, fucking, for it to be nationwide or whatnot, it has to be politicized in a sense. So, again, it's what grabs one idea or grabs your fancy or changes or something you wish to change or something that you think you can change or be a part of or a thought form or a process. The disparity between groups where you have a person wishing to change something and you have someone that doesn't mind if it stays the same until it actually affects them as an issue.
No,
but
it's
yet,
not that...
even in this notion, one still doesn't find nothing wrong with what's going on in the country, even when they're pensioned. Say, but yet I'm speaking hypothetically, and so are you, in a manner of what they're feeling themselves, even though the crunch is there, because you're explaining to me one thing, but yet inflation, pensions always rise with inflation.
Yeah, public pensions.
Unless there's not new dummies to be sacrificed to it. You gotta rob Peter to pay Tom and Mary.
Yeah, the money gotta come from somewhere, and they ain't bringing it from their pocket. That's for damn sure. So they're getting into everybody's pocket.
It's like Japan and a couple other countries. Like,
it's just like the way that my mom put it was, they are condemning the people that is trying to save. So they don't want people saving money. They want people spending the money. You know?
But what happened right now, where you got everybody just empty their account, you know, country's credit score just went the fuck down again, because you're going to default on another loan that was wasted with the last presidency twice. And now you got 4 years hours until that other fucking thing comes. And it's like, what's gonna happen with that? Plus the other default that happened a couple years ago, underneath the last presidency. From the 2001 fucking crash. That's why I brought up to Mom going, hey, y'all just been partying, dude. When you didn't see nothing wrong, and you thought the same way, when your fucking peso was 3,000 to $1. And you're here. And I'm trying to talk with you about that. And I'm going, you're like, in that same note again, just about. But you have the ability to take money out of the account. Others don't. But again, inflation. Hey, before I get to find about it, about the news, you had this information beforehand because of who you know and people you work with throughout your fucking career. You understand? It's something you have over those pillow talkers and non-pillow talkers, because the people that were considered pillow talkers, as I seen in the thing, weren't poor people protesting. These motherfuckers all in new cars. I mean, that's all I was trying to point out. And talking with your mom, going, I'm going to watch the news for 4 hours, and the people around the thing that your mom said that...
You're talking about protesters. My mom's talking about people doing strikes. When people close the street.
Protesting strike is the same thing to me. If you have to protest and get to a strike...
People strike.
Which
people
is a
strike.
secondary...
What you watch on TV was on a protest.
I know, I seen a protest and I also seen a strike with police officers. A protest and a strike is when the protest means aren't fucking needed. That's why, as you heard as we're driving up here, people who are blocking the road doing Black Lives Matter protesting, and then you have strikes where the teachers strike union, so on and so forth, because they're unionized and it's a whole complete group of people underneath the same banner. They call them strikes here instead of a protest when it's a teacher's protest.
Well, because they're stopping what they're supposed to be doing, and they're striking.
See, and that's also a full group of people that you can say it's not just a mob of motherfuckers or rioters or looters. It's everyone with the same agenda.
Yeah, one common good.
Which is, we're going to shut this street down, or we're going to do this, which is, that's why they do it, is we're going to strike and shut this street down, or do this and bring attention to this that you didn't bring. Wouldn't acknowledge when we were just picketing and protesting, which has started small, and now we're taking over this area and striking.
Yeah, I think that measure of taking people hostage, basically.
So you take acknowledgement. And acknowledging that you have a news broadcasting, which you have the ability to watch TV, and watch the news while you drink and chill, and get an update on where the people are, as you're stating to me, which makes it where you can't go a certain way in the city.
Ain't that bad, huh?
Isn't that bad? Fuck, Mom, you got first world problems. It's not like you're in fucking Africa or Venezuela or some shit where you're having to figure out what the fuck is, you know.
I guess one expects more for one lives and can't see that one don't have it that bad.
And I'm just like, I'm just abashed. I'm like, hold on a minute. You're like living in America saying, because you gotta watch on Fox News, downtown fucking Oakland is blocked from here to here, but you gotta reroute this way. It's telling you this. On your GPS, it tells you how to get around the shit. It's even showing you on the GPS that these people are striking right here. If you choose to go that way, or unfortunately maybe your store that you wish to go to your work is in that area, you're encumbered by a little bit, but you're told this. It's not like you're driving into it and, oh my god, there's this mob of motherfuckers jumping on my shit and,
Well, I don't know how he's relating to you.
You know, I mean, I didn't say whether you didn't. I'm just going by Mom's description where I'm watching the news this morning and I'm like, boy, you're watching the same channel that I was watching. All they're doing is showing me people playing with their dogs on the beach. And from an outsider, it was like, what? And again, on the protest, which on the side had some strikes, even with
My mom wasn't talking about that even, you know
even
that,
with
right?
the police officers, there was all cars that I was still stating, hey,
Yeah, that was a middle class process.
it looks like fucking better than America.
Because they were protesting about the court decision of them wanting to do that
Everybody
change
was,
or whatnot.
for a poor ass country, y'all are stating and the news is stating and all this. I'm like, how's everybody riding around
I myself don't understand.
in a car better than fucking a 2009? Everybody's shit looks brand new.
I mean, Ezekiel, our $20,000, our $15,000 will turn into
detailed.
$10,000 is $1 million there, right?
Huh?
Or 100,000,
I don't know what the peso is right now. So,
like 100.
it'd be 100,000. It'd be $100,000 or 100,000 pesos. If a police officer is surviving off of no, it had to be way more than that.
$1 million.
It's a protest, and then there's the dude said they're getting
Doing your calculator.
43,000 pesos a month.
That's $200. We said. When I asked my dad how much 50,000 pesos was, he said it's less than $300.
Yeah, we would have to know what peso is to dollar. Does that even try to like fucking hypothetically like figure it out?
I thought they said that the official was 97 and the blue was like 120 something.
Yeah, let's do that. Just that. That's crazy. Well, that's why we gotta get that shit going, dude. Freedom on this shit.
So instead of importing the dry goods from Turkey,
Get something set up with your mom and your friend and your brother before fucking.
it's better if we just get the dry goods in Argentina. If we buy the dry goods in Argentina.
We don't have the capital for that yet. We're looking at trying to go through fucking through Borica first.
Oh.
Otherwise, what money you got for containers? Otherwise, you gotta use the grant money to do that. And stop all what we're doing here in a sense. Other than the necessities of cutting stuff down and everything, and we would have to use that. Yeah, we need to use that capital and then some more. And that would be something to talk with sister about if she wished to. And you are actually gonna step forward with. That would put a means to an end to her issue and ours. If she helped us with the capital of that, then you actually went forward with it and got it going with the people that you know. As you know, it's hand over fist. It's like fucking figure out where to stuff the money at. And it'll all be legal. So, young men that came into the store talking about doing computer site and so forth. We'd need our site set up and then the thing set to where secure pay, all that kind of stuff, and a way for people to order packages for their loved ones for the jail and prison online. First, a trial run would have to be done with the general population, but a sit down with them, but having everything in order first. So they're saying yes, especially with the way this gastric fucking flu virus shit is, COVID. There shouldn't be no reason for them to say no. But again, the capital, because you got a packaging, you got all that stuff that has to be procured, gotten, and then sent, and then paid for the freight and all that up front first, and then the first packaging that come would subsequently pay for the other things. But you gotta get mom and everybody, or brother or somebody down there that you talk with. Actually get down with the community, because that's the way they get the community. And I don't know why Spirit has me keep trying to say, get like the real estates that the family has control over fucking involved, so that you can take those areas and make it to where they're not blighted, but bring them up and have the capital to where, even though they say it's like throwing money into a fire, you can throw enough money into a fire to where the fire goes out. You understand what I mean? Especially now, if this shit's like where it's at. You came with $15,000, a building that would take, you know, $15,000 just to do the remodeling. You can now remodel and fucking build a side house to it. I'm just saying, like I tried to talk about in Hawaii or Maui, of having a reciprocal or a symbiotic like thing going, instead of just the overlord pay rent and that's it. Like, get something going to where, when I first was stating this a couple years back, but there's an incentive to where your tenants now have an income in food, and you know, always know it's a win-win, because you always nobody's gonna have rent because you're paying them and providing for the community, and the community doesn't go down, and you get rid of all that stuff you're talking about, the kids having drugs and drugs and drugs, because hey, this community here has this, and that way you have, you know, a legacy that's left of your family, not just for art that motherfuckers can't see unless they got, you know, your tax bracket, or even care to look at it. You understand? They got the nutrients, the food. Their mom is not being economically oppressed, depressed. So, you understand?
Yeah. I feel like we're all just abusing each other, and we're just not willing to see it. You know?
Well, they can do that before they dug out. Or do that instead of ducking out. Like, I've been trying to speak to your mom for like 4 years about that shit. Make sure you turn yourself into a medicine woman so you're not a target. You understand my talk? Why I've been saying that. So when the shit goes down, you don't have a target on your back. There's the way that you're speaking, there's the way you're carrying yourself. So it puts a target on your back. this shit, where's gonna snowball over here where this stupid fuck don't get out of office. That's what I'm saying. We gotta empty our accounts and get a couple months worth of fucking food stocked and stored and dug in the ground, bear cages and whatnot down there if we can't get Kasey up here in the ground, whatever the fuck we need to do. But get prep. These fools gonna turn out the lights or something. Cause if he don't get out of the market, then the stock market gonna crash again. That shit hit the things like a motherfucker. I mean, play that shit like a fiddle.
That's next month, huh? November?
Mm-hmm. It's like, damn, yo.
A lot of things falling, huh?
There ain't no wind blowing at you. 2024. Whole lot of squaring of the heart, man. That's crazy. So many people dying of heart issue. Like I said, the Chestahedron. That's why old Chester came with that and was showing that. It blew my mind reading that shit today. About that glass. I gotta send my stuff in. Maybe we can stop this stuff still. One way or another. And you got all you dummies out there piggybacking off the Keshe lemons. The Keshe lemons picking off of Box Sugar and all that. Fucking whack ass misunderstandings. And people got that, talking about that like they're. I'm gonna look that shit up and see if I can find me some of it. I don't know that shit. Buy some and see what the fuck. I know I'm making it or something. So I was talking to sister about at the end of the day. But she still got the obsidian piece. I ate it and gave it to her. She was like, I'm so baffled. She was like, I don't know. Skyler, what do you think went inside of it when he lost his color being black obsidian? And I'll get several of those reactors going and build with that. Let's see what they do now. Do like off of fucking enemy mine. They'll make the plates like when they had the meteor showers on that movie, where they collected the shells of these antlion type things that live in the ground and use it to protect them to make a shelter. They use it as plate, like, and do like the tiles on the bottom of the space shuttle. Heat up the clay dirt. glass.
We here sitting and just like treating the house from inside out and work it.
Let's blast it. Do a framework. Get the clay right mixture and different quartzes and plasmas that we want in there. And fucking just heat fix it up. And then the part that's in the ground, just heat it and seal it. And use different carbons and so forth where we want power conduits, interfaces and so forth. Trying to hear all that rattling in that forehead of you.
Did you say you're coming or not to the shop tomorrow?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah? That's what you said, all the trader security stuff?
See.
Oh. I'm gonna go by the Brownsville post office.
Yeah, you don't got no gas or nothing like that with me. What am I gonna do if I look at the street?
Hug them.
See? Wow.
Yeah, we'll do a short day. I will go by the post office here in Brownsville.
Oh, where is he? Back to the grind.
Oh.
We gotta drive down though on Simpson Lane, Shop Takbeer. Inshallah, we run into brother, the elder with the auger.
Inshallah. That's all, guys. You know what I'm gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take a hat and I'm gonna lay down.
Make some hot chocolate?
Yes, chocolate.
And the water? That's what we got. Do we have hot chocolate?
We got chocolate.
Oh.
Chocolate milk.
No, that's not hot chocolate.
No. I can warm it up. It's hot chocolate.
No, it's hot chocolate milk. It's different.
It's bomb.
No,
But
it's
I
different.
need to rinse this off. You just drink it cold. got a 60 cubic feet refrigerator, 12 volt. That works on gas and propane and electricity. It's like big.
You mean gasoline?
No, gas. Propane.
You say gas, propane, electricity.
Because I call propane gas. It's gas. Like natural gas.
See. We can hydrogen kit it. See about the burner. And produce enough hydrogen out of the thing to get it drawn on there.
Running on water or plasma. Yeah, I'm actually gonna take the bong to bed. That sounds much better.
Oh shit. That's what I meant to do. I was so lazy. I'm so lazy. I was like so hating having to get up.
Oh, me too.
And
Me too. You ruined my whole high.
I'm like, fuck, dude.
It's mist, smoking his sleeping bed.
I'm like, dude. I can't get up by not having light up. I'll hang this over a different way. But I need some light.
I miss you. I missed you. Make sure you leave some wood in the stove so it's warm in the morning. Or throughout the night.
Yes.
There's shade in the bed.
Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. NPR's Aisha Roscoe reports the announcement is expected today.
President Trump says he did not meet with federal judge Barbara Lagoa during his trip to Florida this week. Lagoa, a Miami native, has been one of the top candidates for the position. A source with knowledge of the process told NPR that Republicans expect Trump to pick his other top choice, Judge Amy Coney Barrett. Trump would not confirm that.
Look, they're all great. It could be any one of them. It could be actually anyone on the list. They're outstanding. But I'll be announcing tomorrow.
Trump has been pressing for the Senate to move quickly ahead with considering his nominee. He wants a vote before the November election. Aisha Roscoe, NPR News.
A federal judge has ousted President Trump's top public lands official. William Perry Penley has served as the temporary head of the Bureau of Land Management for more than a year. NPR's Kirk Ziegler has more.
The ruling is in response to a lawsuit by Montana's Democratic governor, who had argued Penley leading the agency is illegal because he had never been confirmed by the Senate. Following months of pressure by Democrats and some Republicans, President Trump withdrew his late-hour nomination of Penley in August, yet he had continued to lead the agency that manages roughly a tenth of all the land in the U.S. Penley has long been polarizing prior to coming to the post. He called for U.S. public lands to be transferred to the states or possibly sold. He also spent much of his career as an attorney challenging the agency he now leads. A Department of Interior spokesman tells NPR the decision will be immediately appealed. Kirk Ziegler, NPR News.
Outside Eugene, Oregon, firefighters are gaining ground on the Holiday Farm fire that's burned 173,000 acres since Labor Day. Brian Bull of member station KLCC reports.
A bulldozer clears out brush as crews continue to shore up containment lines along the fire's edge.
Today I had a fiasco when I went and woke you up.
Forestry says recent rains have helped them more than triple containment since last Friday. Furthermore,
we might have a line around that fire sometime early next week. That doesn't mean full containment,
And then I woke you up, it looked like your pizza was hard, and standing up, and like this, out, and when I even put it down, was your knife, was your pizza.
A warm spell next week could pose problems. Field says local residents need to hold off on burning debris and having campfires until local bans are lifted. For NPR News, I'm Brian Bull in Eugene.
California officials are bracing for hot, dry, and windy weather this weekend that could start more wildfires or make existing ones bigger. Pacific Gas and Electric says it may cut power as a precaution. You're listening to NPR News. Officials in Portland, Oregon are preparing for protests this weekend. Groups demanding racial justice and the right-wing group, the Proud Boys, are both planning demonstrations. The governor has declared a state of emergency. A new inspector general's report says the State Department lied to Congress about why it rescinded an award to a Finnish journalist last year. The journalist was to be honored for exposing Russian disinformation. NPR's Michelle Kellerman reports.
The story the State Department told Congress about the Finnish reporter is that officials mistakenly notified her that she had won the International Woman of Courage Award. The Inspector General finds that she did, but the offer was rescinded after the department learned that she had criticized President Trump in social media posts. Emails show that officials were worried that she could embarrass the administration at a ceremony attended by First Lady Melania Trump. Democratic Senator Bob Menendez, who asked the Inspector General to look into this, says the report shows how fear and partisanship have permeated U.S. diplomacy under the Trump administration. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, the State Department.
A man attacked two people with a meat cleaver on a Paris street yesterday. It happened in front of the office building where Islamic militants opened fire on employees of the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo 5 years ago, killing 11 people. The French Interior Minister said that yesterday's attack is clearly an act of Islamic terrorism. The two people who were stabbed are expected to recover. I'm Nora Rahm, NPR News.
Why is this shit just repeating?
Support for NPR comes from the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation, supporting efforts to promote a just, equitable, and sustainable society in its hometown of Flint, Michigan, and communities around the world. More at mott.org. And the listeners who support this NPR station.
Welcome to Weekend, or welcome back. It's 7:06 GMT. This is the BBC World Service. I'm Paul Henley, and for the rest of the programme until 7:30 GMT, I'm joined by our guests, Lisa Miller, journalist and broadcaster for the ABC network in Australia. She co-presents the News Breakfast programme on ABC TV, and we're joined here in London by Afzal Ashraf, who is an expert on defence, security and international relations at the University of Nottingham here in the UK. More from them both shortly. Now, President Trump will reportedly nominate Amy Coney Barrett a favorite of social conservatives, to be the new Supreme Court justice in the U.S. The president's decision, to be officially revealed at the White House later today, has been confirmed to the BBC's U.S. partner CBS and other U.S. media. She would replace the progressive Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died last Friday. The nomination will set off a bitter Senate fight to get her confirmed as November's White House election looms. Jessica Levinson is professor of law at Loyola University in California, and I asked her who Amy Coney Barrett was.
Amy Coney Barrett is currently on the Circuit Court of Appeals in the United States, which means she's on the intermediate court. Basically, we have trial courts, then we have appeal courts, and then we have the ultimate appeals court, the Supreme Court. So she's already somebody who's serving on the federal judiciary. She's a very conservative jurist. She's young, and a lot of people are looking to her and asking some serious questions about what's going to happen in America with respect to reproductive rights, health care in general, the rights of minorities, the LGBTQ community. She has a very conservative track record, and I think that is worrying some progressives tonight.
And what's the proof of her conservative views? She's called abortion, for a start, immoral, hasn't she?
She has. So what we have to look to is her rulings, again, while she's been on the circuit court, but also things that she's written. She was a professor at a school called Notre Dame, and she's made comments and speeches, again, scholarly articles, where I think she's made her views fairly clear. At least in her personal life, she's very pro-life, and the rest of her record would indicate that she really is a staunch conservative when it comes to other pressing legal issues facing our country.
So spot on in terms of the predictions that were made for the sort of appointment President Trump would have wanted.
Absolutely. Judge Barrett was talked about a lot for the last Supreme Court opening that we had. President Trump nominated Brett Kavanaugh, who is now on the Supreme Court instead, but she was on the top of the list for that position. I really think it was hers to lose this time around. Everyone was basically saying, is it going to be Amy Coney Barrett or will it be somebody else? And now we know it will be her.
What impact might her choice have on the coming elections?
You know, it's really hard to predict because when I talk to Republicans, they're just overjoyed. And this is really, I think, why a lot of Republicans will kind of turn a blind eye when it comes to President Trump's rhetoric and things about his administration that they don't like, because he's been so efficient at getting conservative judges on our courts, and particularly the Supreme Court. And so Republicans, I think, feel that this is an enormous win, and it is for them. Democrats, similarly, I think, are really energized because they see this as another stolen seat on the Supreme Court. They're very worried about what this is going to mean for the future of our country when it comes to some hot-button issues, and particularly those that impact people who are either minorities or on the lower end of our socioeconomic scale. And I think that Democrats may come out in bigger numbers as well. So it seems to be energizing both sides right now.
What kind of a majority does it give conservatives on the panel of Supreme Court judges?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court will be a 6-3 conservative majority. Our Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, did side with the liberals in a few big cases last term, but he is a conservative judge. There's just no two ways about it. And this really solidifies that conservative voting bloc, I think, for decades to come. It's a huge, huge impact on our country.
The BBC understands that it was Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's more or less final wish that there not be another appointment before the elections.
Yes, I think that's been confirmed, and Justice Ginsburg really didn't make any secret of her views of President Trump. I think she thought he was really an existential threat to our country and to the rule of law. And for those reasons, and for the reason that Senate Republicans refused to hold hearings when President Obama had nominated a Supreme Court justice 9.5 months before the election, I believe she would have viewed this as the height of hypocrisy, because now we're not before an election, we're in an election. People are already voting.
That was Professor Jessica Levinson, who's a legal expert from Loyola University in California. So, Afzal, whatever happens in November's US elections, big moral legal decisions in the US could now be shaped for decades to come.
Yes, and I think that's this particular nomination is a symptom of a wider and deeper problem, and it seems to me very paradoxical that this country that is championing the rule of law, that is championing the separation of powers, has a system where the highest law courts, the highest lawyers in the land are politically chosen. Yeah. And it seems to me strange that Western democracy, which has made such impressive advances by separating church and state, is not separating law and politics.
But Lisa, what Professor Levinson gave us there is a really useful explanation, isn't it, of why people who have very strong religious views, who are perhaps passionately anti-abortion, feel that they can disapprove of President Trump but still vote for him.
Yeah, I spent 9 years living in the US, and I left there feeling like I still did not understand the country and what drove so many of the people. You think about it, 4 years ago, we were going into the first presidential debates, and we've got the first debate on Tuesday, US time, and it was when the Access Hollywood tapes had come out, and we all misread who had won the debates. We just consistently, as journalists, continued to get it wrong. I wasn't in the country at the time, I was in the UK, but I just think if anything about the US, what has been proven to us is that we can predict very little.
Journalists are part of the problem to many supporters of President Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Amy Coney Barrett is just a polar opposite to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The whole voting process over the next month is going to just tear America apart again. It's a tight time frame, but Mitch McConnell's determined to get that vote done by late October even, which is just extraordinary.
But it seems the Supreme Court is...
Beautiful morning. Takbeer. Takbeer. I'm driving to town. Shields held. Takbeer. Fire was that way. I still got that little piece right there I gotta cut with the wasp nest there so I can get the cargo container through. See all the dozer tracks. I was saying in the videos, they went down in a lot of dozer tracks. And they're up there on the upper part, marking off and doing thinning out, because you see there's no dozer trails going that way. They knew they were going to go that way, or the fire was going to head that way. They made it go come this way for some reason. for that to go towards Woodley. Huh?
Clearly.
Get the cargo container, get the trailer down this real easy now. Like I figured that spot right there, it collapsed the shoulder of the road. Good thing Swallow is still here. Challenge cutoff road. Still blocked to come into Forbstown. Same in New York House Road. We gotta take the back roads to get to our property. Beautiful green, but they need to come through and get all this underbrush. This is all weeds of the forest. Chokes out the actual forest trees. There's a bunch of volatile organic compounds ready to catch on fire right there. Seen the people's cars move from this house corner. They live there anymore. Right here. Their car never moved.
I guess.
It's the Americans still there. Shit. And drop a note and see if they want that utility truck settle or something. Maybe I gotta move on. We cut trees up. Everything. Boom shit coming in hell handy. Tuesday on the 8th, looked out over and was like, damn, there's hella more smoke over there in the valley. Where's the fire at, y'all? And be back. Fire truck, thank you guys. cut up this way and drive up that pathway and get up to the property. Loggers still here. Still there. Camped out next to them, baby. Yeah, I'm telling you. Anybody else around, you know, leaving till the fire's on your house.
No, I hear you. But we would have missed so many opportunities and things too. There's so much going on.
Got up that road, we would have got to the house, motherfuckers. Joy circle.
Oh
yeah. Brother Dean. Sure. Got still our inspirators. Beautiful. Old folks with a big ass garden. They're inspirators. Cutoff road is no cutoff. For some reason, I wanted to try to get a boiler to come down from the back other way. See what they say to us. What the hell you get over here for? How you get over here?
No, because I need to get to the post office.
I know. You should get the post office.
Oh, going that way?
Going to right here, right?
No.
What are you talking about? I want to find out when they're going to open the road up. Some people on Facebook, you've seen it, say they live in Fortstown, they're going out. What road are you leaving? What road are you leaving? Coming back on. If you can't leave Challenge Cutoff Road to come down, you can't leave New York House or New York Flat Road to come out. Which means the only way you can go is Warville. But where you getting led back in Fortstown is, we live where we're at, on the outskirts of Fortstown Challenge. New York Flat Road is still closed. There's one hell of a tree fall. Right?
Yeah.
And she's been stuck on that road since 3 Saturdays ago.
4 now. Right?
3.
At least makes a difference.
It's like, dude, how did... Super amount of helicopters flying over, nothing being said to the people that live up here. Tell us it's a fucking tree that fell across the thing. Divert. Get everybody compacted in one spot. And then claim fucking fire. Apple trees already just dropping yellow fruit on the ground. Hazy up here still. Shit.
Isn't the Brownsville post office somewhere here? Where's the Brownsville post office?
Brownsville post office?
Yeah.
It's over there by the fire department. I think. I've never been to the Brownsville post office, but I believe it's over there. Drop a note about this trailer.
You want to go talk to him? What is it, that house right there?
Yeah, I think so.
8688.
The post office somewhere over here.
Do we have reception here? That's the fire department. Thrift shop. I don't see it. Do you want to ask that guy? Is he on the phone? Where does he's got reception? I don't have reception. I think it's going down that road.
Thrift shop. Isn't that the post office right here?
Good morning. Do you know where the Brownsville post office is at? Thank you.
Looks like he got reception here.
I know, I don't have reception. I used to.
finally got to go home last night. We've been in the town since the 8th. It's down that way, dude. On the corner.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. What's that? It's down on the corner where they're building the Dollar General bullshit. On the right hand side. He was going the right way. I just basically can't fucking remember. I ain't never been inside of the damn thing. County probation.
Sleep like us, baby. Like 3 years in one building.
Holy fuck.
2 weeks. Done. It's money.
Goddamn. That's just as big as fucking bigger than Golden Market.
I'm not gonna put fit over there.
Damn. $9.38? Huh?
They're not doing the farmer's market.
Well, we gotta get ours going.
They give you grants for all that. Like having an apiculture, the FDA is giving grants. If you want to start a farmer's market, they give you grants. All of that, I was looking at it. Like communal development. I'm all about the grants now. Fuck. I mean, we always have the idea of improving things, you know, if there are funds for that.
Get it before it's taken and turned into some fucking stupid shit against us. And get something inspired for the babies. They do something with their life instead of just fucking look at stupid shit online and eat bullshit and think that they have no hope. Holy fuck, dude, that's insane. What the hell
It's
is
the
that
cookie cutter model that they do everywhere.
What is that big ass silo thing for? Like, what the fuck are they storing that? I don't know, that's different. I ain't never seen no Dollar General fucking shape like that. That motherfucker's made to where if they drop the thing down in front of it, you can't get in that fucking thing. It's like fucking some zombie movie shit. I'm just wondering what the fuck is the silo for, because that silo on that thing is bigger than the one down in Brownsville, or Lomaringa. I'm like, what are they storing there? That big ass storage, bigger and longer than Gold Eagle Market, but is it going to be bigger inside? Look some more. Watch out, kitty.
Oh shit. Well, I don't see no cars. We can ask them later, huh? Looks really tiny, honestly. Looks like it's probably like 7 feet wide.
Weed wash.
What does that mean? That brings your weed from ashes, or?
I don't know. Fire camp set up at Brownsville Airport. It says some tents out there. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you. Like I said, making something up right there with a 300 gallon thing. Crazy. When the last fire burnt through a year ago, it burned up this side of Bangor and Rackerby and Lomaringa and shit. They burnt that way with the wall fire. And then the fire before burnt that way. And they burned that way. We just started the fire season. That's what's fucking scary. Notice that burn up is all ready to get burned again. Ain't nothing been managed. Ain't nothing been managed. Still got valley full of fine particulate. So quiet on the hill, I couldn't barely sleep last night, being used to being in the valley. Every noise I heard, I was like, my guy's so creepy. Lost in my brain, giving thanks. So I could think of something gonna eat me, because we still have some forest and all that. small towns just getting burned up. Mennonites. The store's open. So they ain't finishing up doing the grading of the road right here.
To go.
Tell me the roads are up. Grammy Gulch. You get to see the Gooch from here. Best place to see the beach in the 97 flood because it looked like an island.